If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Something unexpected came out of Cleveland this week, and it might just shake up the way we're viewing one of the most polarizing quarterback prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft. Browns general manager Andrew Berry, never one to toss around wild claims, made a statement that instantly raised eyebrows and sparked conversations across the league. When speaking about Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe, Berry didn't hold back. He called Milroe a rare physical specimen. But then came the real bombshell. Berry suggested Milroe could be the fastest quarterback in the NFL the moment he steps onto the field. Yes, faster than Lamar Jackson. Let that sink in. Berry even joked not to tell Lamar he said that. It was a bold comparison, one that's been bubbling under the surface throughout the draft cycle. Milroe's speed, athleticism, and playmaking ability outside the pocket have drawn parallels to the former MVP from Baltimore. But to hear a GM say it out loud, that's a different level. At 6'2" and 217 pounds, Milroe stunned scouts and executives at his pro day with a jaw-dropping, unofficial 4.37-second 40-yard dash. Numbers like that are rare at any position. For a quarterback, it's virtually unheard of. For context, Lamar Jackson reportedly ran a 4.34 back in the day, but he never ran an official time at the combine. So the debate rages on. And now, it's got fuel. But Milroe isn't just a sprinter in cleats. He's a dynamic dual-threat weapon who, over 4 seasons at Alabama, rushed for 1,577 yards and found the end zone 33 times with his legs. Defenders had nightmares about him turning broken plays into highlight reels. Still, speed and athleticism only take you so far in the NFL. What about his arm? What about his consistency as a passer? That's where the evaluations get complicated, and where his draft stock becomes one of the most intriguing mysteries heading into late April. His final season with the Crimson Tide was a mixed bag. He threw just 16 touchdown passes and was intercepted 11 times over 13 games. Those numbers don't scream NFL ready, especially when you're trying to convince a front office that you can eventually take over the reins as a franchise quarterback. And while scouts agree that Milroe has the physical tools, an NFL-caliber arm, the athleticism to extend plays, and the potential to become something special, the finer points of quarterbacking still need polish. Footwork, timing, anticipation, reading coverages. These are the areas that separate the elite from the electrifying. NFL.com's Lance Zierlein didn't sugarcoat it. In his report, he praised Milroe's arm but emphasized the need for refinement in his mechanics, particularly in how his footwork affects accuracy across all 3 levels of the field. That's the type of developmental curve that makes some teams hesitate, especially if they're in need of an immediate contributor. But not every franchise is playing the short game, and Cleveland might be in the perfect position to let a talent like Milroe grow at his own pace. Deshaun Watson's Achilles injury could sideline him for the bulk of the upcoming season. In anticipation, the Browns made 2 notable moves. They re-signed veteran Joe Flacco to a 1-year deal and traded for Kenny Pickett from the Philadelphia Eagles. Neither is a long-term answer, but together, they give the Browns a bridge, a cushion, the freedom to take a quarterback who might not be ready now, but could be unstoppable later. And if Berry is serious about what he said, Milroe could be that guy. Berry brought up the path of other quarterbacks who weren't overnight sensations. Patrick Mahomes sat an entire season behind Alex Smith. Josh Allen didn't become Josh Allen until his 3rd year. Jalen Hurts had doubters until he flipped the script in year 3. Even Lamar Jackson, despite his early flashes, needed time to develop his full game. Quarterback development isn't linear. It never has been, and that's exactly what Berry wanted to emphasize. The Browns aren't looking for a quick fix. They're aiming for the right long-term bet, one that could pay off big if nurtured properly. Which brings us back to Milroe. With the draft set for April 24th to 26th in Green Bay, the Browns currently hold the number 2 overall pick. That selection likely won't be used on Milroe, especially with other top prospects on the board. But don't rule him out just yet. If he slides, and Cleveland finds themselves in the right spot later in the draft, Berry's comments suggest they'd jump at the chance to bring him in. And why wouldn't they? You're talking about a quarterback with elite speed, a powerful arm, SEC battle scars, and a chip on his shoulder. A player who's been doubted, questioned, and overlooked, despite having the kind of athleticism that makes defensive coordinators lose sleep. If developed right, Milroe could be one of the biggest steals of the draft. It's not about who's ready right now. It's about who could take over the league in 2 or 3 years. Barry's message was clear. The Browns are willing to play the long game. And if Jalen Milroe is still on the board when the moment feels right, don't be surprised if Cleveland makes a move that turns heads all over again. Because sometimes the fastest way to the future is to wait. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Nobody saw this coming. Not even the most plugged-in NFL insiders. But here we are. The Buffalo Bills have done the unthinkable. Josh Allen, the face of the franchise, the heart of Buffalo, the quarterback who brought life, relevance, and hope back to Western New York, is gone. And not just gone. He's headed to Cleveland. That's right. Josh Allen is now the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Let that sink in. For years, Josh Allen was the Buffalo Bills. Drafted in 2018 with the 7th overall pick, he was raw, unpredictable, often doubted, but always explosive. Over time, he became one of the most dynamic and dangerous quarterbacks in the NFL. He turned the Bills from perennial underachievers into legitimate Super Bowl contenders. He gave Buffalo a reason to believe again, year after year. And now, somehow, that era is over. The move is unprecedented. The shockwaves are massive. And the NFL world is scrambling to understand why this happened, how it happened, and what it means for both teams moving forward. First, let's talk about Buffalo. Because Bills Mafia has every right to be stunned, and honestly, outraged. This isn't just losing your quarterback. This is losing your identity. Josh Allen was the most beloved athlete the city's had in decades. His connection with the fans, his toughness, his fearlessness, it all screamed Buffalo. He was gritty. He was raw. He was emotional. He fit the city like a glove. And now he's out. So what happened? There had been whispers, sure. Some tension between Allen and the front office. Some concern about his playing style, his turnovers, his tendency to play hero ball. And after another disappointing playoff exit, this time at the hands of Patrick Mahomes again, maybe, just maybe, the Bills brass felt it was time to reset. Maybe they saw a window closing. Maybe they wanted to build a team that didn't have to rely on Allen putting on the cape every single week. But trading him to Cleveland? That's where this gets even wilder. Because the Browns haven't exactly been the most stable landing spot for quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, Johnny Manziel. The list of failed experiments is long. And now they get Josh Allen, in his prime? This isn't just a bold move by Cleveland. It's a revolution. The Browns are going all in. They've got a ferocious defense, led by Myles Garrett, one of the most feared edge rushers in the game. They've got weapons on offense. They've got a solid line. And now they've got a quarterback who can extend plays, launch 60-yard bombs, and truck linebackers at the goal line. This could be the moment that Cleveland finally, escapes its haunted history and becomes something different. Josh Allen in a Browns uniform. It still doesn't feel real. But for Allen, maybe this is the fresh start he needed. The last couple of years in Buffalo have been emotionally and physically draining. The expectations were sky high, and every season that didn't end in a Super Bowl felt like a failure. The offense became too dependent on him. The coaching staff couldn't find balance. The turnovers mounted. The burden got heavier. Maybe now, with a change of scenery, a different coaching staff, a new system, Allen can reset. Breathe. Evolve. Of course, that's easier said than done. Cleveland fans will demand results. They've been through enough heartbreak to last 10 lifetimes. And while Allen is a huge upgrade, he's not invincible. He'll have to prove that he can win when it matters. That he can protect the football. That he can lead not just with his talent, but with poise and precision in big moments. As for the Bills, the questions are endless. Who's the quarterback now? Did they get picks in return? A player? Is this the beginning of a full-blown rebuild? Is Sean McDermott safe? What does Stefon Diggs think of all this? Oh wait, he's already gone too. That's right. In the span of just a few weeks, the Buffalo Bills have lost their top wide receiver and their franchise quarterback. Talk about a reset. It's not just a new chapter, it's a new book. And nobody knows what's written in the next few pages. Some fans will say this is madness. That Buffalo just gave up on their best shot at a title. That the team is folding right before our eyes. Others might say it's the tough move that had to be made. that Josh Allen's style wasn't sustainable, that his best seasons might be behind him if he doesn't adapt, that the Bills needed to think long-term, not just live in the past. Whatever the truth is, this trade is going to define both franchises for years to come. If Allen thrives in Cleveland and leads the Browns deep into the playoffs, maybe even to a Super Bowl, he'll become a legend not just in Buffalo, but in all of football. He'll have proven that he can do it anywhere, under any conditions. But if he struggles, if the turnovers continue, if the Browns collapse under the weight of the hype, then the whispers will get louder. And Buffalo might feel like they dodged a bullet. One thing is certain, the AFC landscape just got a major shakeup. The Browns are no longer just a dangerous team. They might be a favorite. And the Bills? They're officially in transition. Whether that's a short-term retool or a long-term rebuild remains to be seen. But let's not get it twisted. Trades like this don't happen often. Franchise quarterbacks don't get moved in their prime unless something serious is going on behind the scenes. There's more to this story. There always is. Maybe it'll come out in time. Maybe it won't. But for now, all we can do is sit back and try to process the biggest NFL bombshell of the offseason. Josh Allen, gone from Buffalo, wearing orange and brown. And the NFL will never be the same. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!